Hey folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Football Manager 2017. We are playing as Ayr United, and there are only 4 more games left in this season. We have mathematically secured a spot in the playoffs no matter what happens, because everyone's only got 4 games left to play. The most points they can earn is 12, which means you can see here that Wraith and Dunfermline could at best end up at 53 and 54. So even if we don't win another single game, we are going to end up third no matter what. Except it is technically possible for us to end up second. Again, 12 points left on the board, which means we could end up with as high as a 67, which means that even if Falkirk were to win 1 game, and, you know, we did that, we would come in second. If they win 2, mathematically, we can't beat them. If they win nothing, then we can do it with 3 wins. It's technically possible for us to end up second overall, which would be nice because it would skip the first round of the playoff tournament, which currently we would be playing against Dunfermline or possibly Wraith if they get up a little bit higher. So we'd have to beat them before we'd be paired off against Falkirk, before we get paired off of whoever comes down from the Premier League. Whereas if we come into second, then we don't have to participate in that first match. We were going to play against the winner between, say, Falkirk and Dunfermline, and then we're going to play the winner of that and go on forward. I don't really have high expectations at all for the playoff. I mean, even if we manage to make ourselves to the finals, then we have to play against an actual Premiership team, and that's going to be kind of uncomfortable, although they'll be the worst of the Scottish Premiership teams, so who knows what will happen. That being said, in the 4 games that we do have left, the 4 fixtures that we do have left, there's going to be one very difficult one against Hibernian over here, which they are very hard to beat, although we are going to be playing them at home. And the thing is, Morton and Wraith are also perfectly fine, but they're perfectly fine teams, and they're away games, so that's going to be a little difficult. I think if we're going to win anything a little bit easier, it's probably going to be our next match here against Dundee United, 7th overall in the Championship League, and it is going to be a home game for us. That being said, I'm not going to put all my eggs into the let's win 4 straight games in a row basket and hope that Falkirk doesn't win more than 1, which seems kind of unlikely. I mean, we could look at their schedule and see who they're going to be playing against, but I'm willing to bet there's at least a couple fixtures in there that they're going to have a good handle on. So I think I'm going to continue with plan, get the B squad a little bit more match sharpness here so that we have a slightly deeper set of options going into the playoffs. Also, by not playing my first team quite as much, it will reduce the chance of an injury, although we got to make sure that their personal match sharpness doesn't fall too far down either. So I think we're going to go ahead with this comp here. We do have 7 days, so the resting is going to be okay. Actually, it might be quite nice to get Robbie Crawford with more experience or more sharpness, because he is one of our solid substitutes, although that would mostly mean replacing Jamie Adams and Ross Docherty, both people that we would actually like to be on top form, because they actually could be starters. Ross Docherty, for example, has started quite often for us, and so getting some sharpness there is going to be okay. You know what? I think I'm kind of okay with this setup over here. Any chance we'd actually want someone else to be in the Calum Crane substitution position? The other thing I can do is I can put Calum Crane in and tell him to tackle hard, to try to encourage him to get another yellow card warning before the playoffs. That way we'll have all of our players available for that. That's kind of an interesting idea. I mean, we don't want him to get a red card, because we don't want to be a man down probably. But we might go and try to encourage him to get himself a yellow card. I know, it's a little crazy. Tackle harder, but let's see what we can do, and close down more and tackle harder when you do. All right, we'll do that. We'll have to try to remember to remove those instructions before we start a real match. How do you feel about Ian Murray accusing me of unprofessional behavior in the build-up to the match? What? Ian Murray, what did he say? Must be disappointed with the result of such an important match. What does it mean to you? We can take some positives from the match and performance. We didn't get the results we wanted in an important match like this. Tough to swallow. Hopefully, what the hell else did he say? It seems, I don't know. What did he say? You know what? Oh, I was doing unprofessional. Like, I said something wrong? I think we both let the magnitude of the match get a bit to us. Neither one of us covered ourselves in glory. So in the comments, but I hope we can move on. There we go. I have no idea what happened there, but let's go forward anyway. I don't know if that was in one of the tunnel interviews, or it might have even been something my assistant coach said in the press conference, because they do attribute that to me. You're unhappy with the high amount of extra training he's been asked to do. All right, well, we'll cut out the additional focus on dribbling, but we're going to keep working you towards the winger training. Everything of those, like if you train someone for a specific position, I think it adds a little bit more overhead, and certainly the additional focus does as well. All right, under 20. So we got a little whiles to go before we hit this. And a lot of times I skip all this, but because there's only 4 games left, and you know every little decision can be quite important at this point, we will go ahead and just play through it. I suspect we don't need to focus on match tactics here because we are pretty comfortable with this. We actually aren't all the way there yet. Why the tempo? We're just playing on normal tempo. How come it's not, more fluid? I'm not sure. The width, the creative freedom, right, because this is slightly more structured now. The formation, I'm actually wondering if we, before going into the playoffs, if we might want to continue improving this. Part of it might be that the players, because they've, they're not our A-teamers, I'm going to keep the training focus on match prep, which will mostly involve practicing this structure. Also, on the training, how are we balanced? Yeah, we're balanced here, so we haven't gone overboard on match training, but I think that's going to be okay. I'm not going to change the intensity in any way whatsoever. That's going to be fine. What's the news? Air players named Team of the Week. Wow! 5 players, Team of the Week. Craig McGuffey, such a great little guy over here. Paul Kearney, Paddy Boyle, I think it's Michael Rose, and Peter Murphy, I think, all getting named in the Play of the Week. And considering a lot of these are secondary players, right? This is our B team. Well, a fair amount of it is our B team. That's really impressive that they had such a good performance. I think that was in a 3-0 win, wasn't it? So, I mean, it's not really surprising that in a game like that, a lot of people got, very high ratings, of course. You think we should scout this person, so let's go ahead and do that. That's fine. Scouting a person or 2 here or there is not a big problem. Yeah, choose the length of the rest carefully. Let's take a look, actually, on the training thing. How are our individuals doing in terms of, not sharpness. No, sharpness is fine. No one's truly tired. Okay, that's fine. Fully fit, superb condition. Excellent. Okay. And Fleming is still injured. Reduce the chances of an opponent hurdling an attempted tackle and leaving your team outnumbered in defense. Player development advice. These are probably under 20s, and my assistant coach figures that they should be tutored by someone. Sure. Hopefully it doesn't mean that McGatton or Harkins will be working too hard here and too distracted from their own efforts. I think that's going to be quite good. All right, we are nearly at the game. Ayr lead all Ladbrokes Championships with goals from corners, resulting in total 7 or 32. We have the most corner goals? That's amazing, because it always felt like our corners didn't work out very well. Holy crap. Pre-match tactical advice, I'm going to ignore you. Transfers and contracts advice summary. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I don't know why Gary Harkins was set to a backup player. I will go ahead and apply that. That was very weird. I don't know if that's something I did or what. We are the favorites. We're pleased with preparation. Indeed, we're still working on getting super comfortable with the 4-2-3-1 wide tactic, but that's okay. And it is going to be nice to have more than one tactic around. We can switch it up because the AI does adapt your tactics if you play it a lot. So we may still want to go and deploy a different tactic in maybe at the start of a game or maybe at the halftime. Just do a swap there, especially in preparation for maybe some substitutes coming in so we can tune things a bit. Okay. This is us versus Dundee. So we have met 3 times. We've never had a draw with Dundee, which is interesting. We won twice, and they won once. No draws. The conditions are fine. Maybe a little bit of rain, but, calm winds. We have 3,300 tickets sold, which is actually pretty good for us, I think. This referee is maybe somewhat on a slightly higher side for yellows, but not extreme, I would say. They have 1 person out from injuries. That's one of the other things right now. We've got no real injuries going on, which is very, very, very comforting. Tony Ralston is suspended. Yes. Which is fine. Okay. I think we are going to go ahead and submit this team. Again, Caleb Crane has been given the instructions to close down often and tackle hard. We're actually kind of hoping that he picks up 1 yellow card here, which will result in him being suspended in one of the last few matches of the regular league season. That way he can play off, he can take his suspension before going into the playoffs, and then we'll be going into the playoffs with no risk that someone will have a suspension looming over their head and might miss the match. Also, as far as I know, the yellow card counts do not reset between seasons, so we may as well, even if it wasn't about the playoffs, it's nice to burn it off now when it doesn't matter, so that for next season it'll be ready to go. Be a tight game, but I think Dundee United will lose this one. Air on a high and home advantage should be enough to get them to victory. The 4-6 favorite. 9-4 on a draw. Mathematically secured a playoff place, but with the title still up for grabs, they have everything to play for. Dundee could move into 6th. Air Keyman, Gary Harkins, of course. Dundee Keyman, Wilo Flood. Or, well, it may flood, but I'm betting it's not pronounced flood. I'm betting it is pronounced something like flood. The experienced midfielder has the ability to pull the strings from the midfield if given the opportunity. Okay. So, of course, they're going to play in the classic 4-4-2 is what we suspect. Although, you know, there could be some variety in their individual roles. We can actually see that their people aren't lined up quite the same way. Assuming that this is actually how they're going to be played in the match, it looks like Obadeyi over here will be quite a bit more aggressive. And in fact, I remember his last name. I think he's actually someone quite dangerous. So, for opposition instructions, we will do the standard mark the strikers. And I will also mark the not mark the wingers. Well, hold on a sec. I was going to say, we're going to close down on both of the wings over here. But with Obadeyi, I will also have him tightly marked because I think he actually is a threat over here. So we're going to do that. Hopefully it's not going to pull too many players out of position too much. Michael Rose has actually got a just okay morale, which is too bad. Everyone else is in great shape, which is looking good. I'm just, going to be calm about it. We're the favorites here. Go out and impress me. That's that. Maybe I'll make a comment to the defenders. I'll try to, expecting to see solid defensive work out there. Okay, I'm just going to try to mix up some of my commentary a little bit, because apparently it does decay a little bit if you do the same thing. I've never really seen any evidence of that, but who knows. Start the match. Whoa, that is loud on my computer. And I suspect it actually might be quite loud for you guys too, so let me go and bring that down just a scooch, since the sound effects aren't really important. Wow, chest block over there. This is going to be a throw-in from the other side, but that was interesting. That guy just got a... I bet you he's got a bruise. Ball kicked at that speed right in the chest. Looks like it was thrown for us. Doesn't make any sense. More with an early kick. It's a minute 12 into the game, and actually a very nice on-target kick for sure. Not a super... it was kicked with a decent amount of speed. That's easily the sort of thing that could go in. All right. Dundee are on the offense over here. Flood or Flood. I guess I should say flood, because it's like the English word, but... Oh my god! Okay. I was very scared of that, but it went well wide. Not too much of a concern there. I don't remember if Stockley's one of their strikers or not. No, I don't know. Nice. Nice interception there by Doherty. Gets to Adam. Kearney pulls it back to Doherty, who sends it way deep to Moore, who's going to head it in. It's not offside. I wasn't sure. Didn't see exactly where Moore was standing when that play started. What a beautiful, beautiful direct pass. Look at Moore's forward flip there. What a celebration. He just did a forward roll, did he not? That was incredible. Incredible. Doherty, giant long bomb. Moore, boom, with the header. He was alone because, his heading skills and jumping skills aren't huge, so he's unlikely to win a heading battle. And actually, his heading accuracy might not be fantastic either. But what a beautiful, beautiful goal. I've never seen that in all my Football Manager so far. Which isn't that much. Effectively, I'd say at this point, I've got a couple of seasons of experience scattered through whatever. I don't think I've ever seen a goal executed quite like that. Is Doherty going to do another long-range bomb to Moore here? No, gets it up to Kearney, who's a little bit blocked. Back to Doherty, back to Kearney, who takes it wide to McGuffey, the winger, who gets a nice stop there. He's going to not be able to make the move forward. Kearney's got a lot of room here to plan something out, but not a real opening, except for Crane wide, who's going to try to cross... No, he actually shoots directly for the goal. Oh my god, how was that not... that would have been a corner, I suppose. Moore decides to keep it in instead of giving up for a corner, which is interesting, but that's okay. Doherty to Crane, who's got a great angle, but the ball was a little bit high, and he's forced to take some time before getting control. But Adams is able to pick up the ball and continue the offense. We are dominating here. I think I'm going to go ahead and, rather than play on standard, I'm going to go ahead and accept that we are, in fact, dominating. So I'm going to switch into control pending. That's interesting. Why does it not... tell me I've got, pending changes. Maybe with this it's a little easier to do. And doesn't lock out the rest of the stuff. So we're going to go to control on the assumption that we seem to be dominating the match. Of course, it's only 10 minutes. It's not the full sample, but maybe we can continue to do that. And I think with control, it'll encourage us to keep the possession longer in the offensive zone, maybe not shoot quite as quickly, with the assumption that we'll get the high-quality one and we won't get beaten. So we're gonna play a little bit more finesse ball in the offensive zone. It's one of the things I believe happens with control. That is a little bit unfortunate. They do have things going on. Now, going to control isn't going to affect our defense so much. Oh, there's this guy who's I'm very concerned with. Oh my god, he gets a beautiful pass in front of the net, but Smith is not able to deliver. The one downside is I think it's going to discourage our defenders from just bombing the ball sort of deep, which means there's a chance. Wow, that was incredibly disappointing. Yeah, the goaltender just like puts his hands out like, come on, guys. No one's able to grab the ball for that. He looked really, really disappointed by that. Take a look. Okay, Tefler, the free kick to Stockley. The goalkeeper knocks it away. And then Stockley doesn't even look like it should go in. Look at the goalkeeper if it still does the animation. Puts his head back and puts his arms out. Like, come on. I was on the ground. None of you could pick up that rebound. That's super disappointing. Well, actually, Dundee's up in shots now. Maybe flipping the control was a little too over-eager, but I don't think so. I think it's still going to be fine. And I don't think that was an example. Oh, wow, that's really disappointing. I don't think that was an example of our people being too aggressive. Maybe we were sitting a little bit further up, and that meant one less person who could get to the ball with ease. That deflection was huge, and they are scoring. There's a lot of very terrifying scoring opportunities going on here. Let's just go back to standard. Let's pretend that change never happened. We've got a yellow card for Jamie Adams. That's not what I'm looking for. And a warning for someone on the other side. Come on. Where's the mutual yellow cards? That's what we're looking for. Let's get the ball out of there. There you go. Craig McGuffey going to make a nice run for it. He's got a lot of room. I was going to say, I'm surprised he kicks it up. Actually, now I'm really disappointed. He could have carried the ball for a fair bit longer rather than take that risky pass. Although we are encouraging, of course, injury on the other side. We are encouraging a lot of direct play, so I think that would be a side of it. I'm actually very disappointed with that. I'm going to be assertive here. We can still win this. Keep working hard. Now, I mean, mistakes will be made against our B team, and again, we're not super concerned with winning the game. It would be nice, and I want my players to play as best as they can, but we're intentionally not fielding our greatest team because of reasons. Alan Forrest is a little pinned in, but lots of room in the middle. Doherty's got time to make a decision. He decides to try to send it to Moore, but Flood interferes with that again, or intercepts the pass. Smith is able to stop that with a header and gets it to Stockley, who is slowed down by a twisted ankle. Obadeyi with a beautiful shot. Again, he's a very, very, very dangerous person, and we continue to be outshot. That first 10 minutes, I think, was quite deceptive. Still talking about the twisted ankle. That's the same person, though. The injury, I think it's just being sort of aggravated or repeated. I'm surprised they're not doing a substitution, though. There's Stockley again. He's going to have to get pulled off at some point. Oh, my God. What on earth was that? A definite failure. That's Caleb Crane, who I'm telling to tackle hard here, who has decided not to do that. His actual aggression may not be as high as I would like. It's only 15 minutes in, but I think it might be time to do a swap. We could also change tactics if we feel like we're being countered. You know, something like that. And Forrest actually still has a lot of juice going in here, but I'm going to pull in Robbie Crawford here. And he actually plays fairly well. Oh, I'm wrong about that. Who is... Oh, I think it's Doherty who plays as the defensive midfielder. The best. That's not what I want to click on. I want to click on Crawford's position here as a defensive midfielder. And yeah, Ross Doherty is quite comfortable playing as a ball-winning midfielder a little further back. And that's going to be fine. So that's still not a substitute. Adams over here, he's not really comfortable in that. I think, do we just sub in Harkins at this point? Sure, we'll do that. So we'll sub in Harkins. Oh, yeah, no, we are doing a double sub. Sorry, my bad. I'm forgetting about Forrest. Let me undo that. If I put Kearney here, no, Adams isn't comfortable there at all. I'm just trying to figure out, without making any changes to any more substitutions, can we get people in a state that they're happy? You're happy as a ball-winning midfielder, that's true. I'm just going to play you as a generic support center midfielder over here. Okay. Again, our biggest interest here is to get a little bit more sharpness on our B players. If we lose this match, it looks like we're going to. Wow, we looked so dominant in the first 10 minutes. Like, it looked like we were unstoppable. They may have adapted to our strategy, though. And so that's one of the things with switching to a different formation. It might work out well for us. We're definitely being wickedly outshot, though. Also, these free kicks are not going to help things out for us. Okay, that's going to be a goal kick for us. So there we go. So we'll start to get the momentum in our direction here. 61 minutes in. Another... Wow. Well, I mean, we're clearly not winning this match. I'm not going to like the fact that if we go in with a lower morale for these last few matches, because if we end up with a series of losses going into playoffs, I will be sorely disappointed. I got to say, that was a beautiful, beautiful corner there that we just did fail to defend. They've abandoned their defensive stance. I think they were on a defensive stance. So we're just playing... Oh, did I not switch back to standard? I'm pretty sure I switched back to standard, and apparently it didn't stick. So, I don't know, there might be something there. Maybe I made another change or something got canceled, but we've still been on a control mentality here, which might have been why we're giving up more of these defensive situations. Let's confirm here that this is going to switch over to control maybe at some point. I think it's going to take a whistle before it happens. There we go. So now we are on that. But yeah, why did it switch back to control? Very disappointing. All right, so yeah, at 75 and maybe 80, or maybe at 70 we'll make another sub, and then at 80 we'll make another one there. Again, just trying to rotate as many people in here for a little bit of sharpness. Free kick given. They're getting a lot of free kicks on the other side. We have drawn 17 fouls, 18 fouls. That's actually a big part of what's going on here. Can I, like, tell people, like, calm down. Stop drawing so many fouls. Except for Tony Ralston, I actually do want you to get a yellow. You're not really playing part of the plan here. I want you to intentionally get a yellow here. Over to Rose, who takes a long time to get it to Moore. That deflection on the foot really slowed down the momentum of the ball, giving Bell the opportunity to save that. Oh, we're at the 70-minute mark. Although I can't change the tactic because I just did a speech, which is crazy to me. Like, why can I not... There it is. Make a tactical change. Just load it into the same set of changes. It seems so bizarre to me. So Paddy Boyle, I would like to bring you in. So I'm going to do that for Caleb Crane. That's going to be fine. Now, the instructions were player specific, so you're not going to have the scary stuff. That's going to be okay. Michael Rose, actually, what I should have done for you too is just given you the defensive fullback role because it's a lot easier for you to play. So we don't have any other substitutes that are looking for match sharpness here. So one of the things I could do is maybe just replace one of the tiredest players with just Jamie Adams over here, and for that we will bring in Gary Harkins. He's not quite as happy in this role, although as an advanced playmaker, he feels quite good doing that. So that's what we're going to do. And bring them in. Seems pretty unlikely that in the last, depending on time, 15 minutes of play, that we will be able to score 2 goals. It could happen for the equalizer, but... hardly the end of the world here. I would prefer it if we could end this with a little bit more morale. A loss at home is going to be very demoralizing. Kearney with actually a great attempted shot over there. Now our shots on might be a little bit lower because we do have the work ball into box instruction, but I don't really think that was the problem along the way. It might be, but no, I'm okay with it. Possession 50-50. Pass completion is actually quite a bit lower. Again, we're used to seeing off quite frequently at the 80s. Now, it is raining, and we're playing the direct play. That might be part of the problem. I'm not sure. Who's getting a yellow? Craig McGuffey with a yellow card over here. I don't think he's at risk. Our average rating is quite a bit lower than the other team. Looks like this is going to be the final play of the game. We've got a corner that goes out. It'll be a goal kick. Just waiting for the referee whistle. That's going to happen anytime here. And there it goes. So, the fans seem to be cheering a lot. I'm going to be cautious about this. But it's not good enough. We should have won the match. I'm going to try to yell at them slightly for a little bit of motivation. Again, I didn't put the champion team forward, so it's not so super surprising. Falkirk, I believe, Falkirk won theirs as well. Yeah, because I think they were at 63. Because my math was that I could end up at 67 Yeah, so they won theirs. So even if we win the last 3, we can't get there anymore. Because it's 9 more points for us. So yeah, mathematically we are going to end up third regardless of what happens here. So we'll almost certainly keep going with the idea that our B teamers, we want to get them a little higher. Although I need to make sure that my A teamers don't fall below, like 96% with Gary Harkins. This is actually to me a little lower than I would prefer. But it's not too bad. As long as he gets the substitutions in, it should stay relatively high and be okay for the playoffs. So I think that's going to be all right. Jordan Hart, right, we gave you a little bit more experience over here, and I'm happy with that. And actually your performance has continued to be quite good, despite the fact that there was that loss there. I think I'll start you one more time, and then maybe we'll go back to starting with Ross Doohan over here. I think that's going to be okay. So yeah, Greg Fleming is injured, but he is away on loan, right? So that's not really relevant to anything that's going on for me. Sean McCurdy at 100% is quite nice. James Brown is our youth goalkeeper. I think I'm going to keep him on the adult squad for now, but I'm going to make sure that he's just always available for the under-20 squad, because that makes a lot of sense over there. Reserves. Yeah, that's fine. Nicky's only at 74% match readiness. I think, was he still recovering a little bit from an injury? I'm not sure, but I think it's going to be very important that we actually do start Nicky here. Yeah, because Michael Rose, it was nice giving you a little bit of sharpness, but Nicky is someone we actually want starting over here on the right wing. Well, you and Tony Ralston, who's at 98%, so that's fine. Turns out Andy Giggins not actually bad as a fullback, which I think I kind of forgot about. Still, yeah, let's get Nicky some sharpness. That's going to be quite important for us. Rose, Gilmore, these are not necessarily people we're 100% going to count on. Well, you've got nice variety. I like that you can play one of the middle roles, or you can play attacking midfield to right. So you're a potential sub in for Forrest. We might want to get you a little bit something. In fact, Alan Forrest is at 96%. So what I'm going to do, and McGuffey can play both wings as well. That's true. I think I'm going to bring in Brian Gilmore for the next match. That's going to be okay. Do we want Alan Forrest to sit out completely? I think we're going to swap Craig Moore and Jamie Thomas. Just keep alternating them. And I think that's relatively okay. No one else can play on this wing. Well, other than Gary Harkins, and even then, he's not really comfortable at doing it. Yeah, so Craig McGuffey's going to have to keep playing over there, and that's going to be fine. Crane, I think I'm going to get rid of these now for this game. We're going to try it once, but that was about it. Nicky Devlin, what are you most comfortable in? Yeah, probably just stay on fullback support. I don't know why that menu doesn't always update over here on the left to show the correct thing being selected. And I'm almost surprised that your role, like fitness, doesn't seem to be going up. You're 23. You are a little past the ideal training period, but not really. And you've been playing this role a lot. Like, I don't know why it's not considering you to be a natural there. I don't want to play you as a defensive fullback. It's like, that to me is like too defensive, but out of curiosity. So this is crosses from deep. If I just set you back to this, shoot less often, dribble less, more direct passing, fewer risky passes, cross less often, hold position. So really, you would just be looking to dump it off to someone else as quickly as possible over here, while never moving too far out of your position. Which might be okay, but no, I think this is fine. If I got rid of this, you'd have the fewer risky passes, hold position, cross from deep, but not quite as much. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is fine. All right, yeah, we'll keep working on that. That's going to be okay. Well, I guess I'm going to put a cut in here. Next game is going to be against Morton. And again, mathematically, nothing we can do is going to make any difference whatsoever anywhere. So, all these guys can be until fit, 90 minutes per match. Just keep getting a little bit more sharpness going on there. So a lot of the pressure is going to be off for our last few games. The biggest one will be don't get injured, although I don't think there's anything I can really do to encourage that. Since I don't care about winning or losing, we will just continue to practice our match tactics so that we can get our familiarity with the tactics to be as high as possible before the playoffs, because this was a relatively late season change in tactics going on here. It also may be worthwhile playing a few more games here at the end with going back to one of our older strategies. Get the computer, get the teams thinking that we're gonna flip back to playing this like weird long 4-4-2, and then flip back into the potentially more appropriate 4-2-3-1. Yeah, actually, that's not a terrible idea, and I say that because we are not playing Alan Forrest right now. And one of the reasons to play this was it made better use of Alan Forrest. So I think I'm quite keen on that. Well, we still have to make a few tweaks and changes to the strategies over here to make best use of things. There we go. Crawford over there, which is going to be fine. And trying to avoid playing Harkins right now. Adams, there was another role that you were more comfortable in here, right? Yeah, just a regular central midfielder, probably on the support role. That's going to be fine. There you go. So everyone's playing something they're relatively comfortable in. Caleb Crane, what's your other substitute over here? You don't really have one. I mean, maybe Michael Donnell, but that's not a really good fit. So yes, we will have to keep playing you. Just again, looking at the people with the higher rated comfort levels and see if there's a good swap there for someone that we can get a little bit more sharpness for. It does mean we're going to be in this dual striker position, which may or may not be ideal, but I guess it's fine. We do end up with a lot of clutter there. But again, I think it'll confuse the AI if I do this sort of thing. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. And we will follow that up next time. So thanks for watching. See you then.